The European Parliament elections are just around the corner. And when it comes to the real problem of illegal immigrants, Donald Tusk, the Prime Minister of Poland, assures us that he will not allow the so-called voluntary solidarity mechanism, in essence, the take-it-or-leave-it blackmail, to be applied to Poland. Tusk knows what the polls show, and he knows that even the inhabitants of Jagodno district in Wrocław do not want migrant camps in their country. The question is, who will believe what he says? For whom else can Tusk be credible on any issue? Kamil Trzaska looked for the answer. Lampedusa, one of several Italian islands closest to the African coast, European Union's territory. Another record was broken last week, 1,500 illegal migrants per day. They all end up in regularly overcrowded temporary camp. From here, they are relocated to continent and further to other countries of the community. According to officials from Brussels, this mechanism was supposed to be a solution to the problem. The Migration Pact does not stop illegal migration, but helps to relocate those who have already entered the European Union illegally. The situation in Lampedusa will not change. The Migration Pact is helping to relocate these migrants to different countries in the European Union. But it is not stopping a problem what we have known about for years. People smugglers who earn several $100s per passenger are using EU regulation to attract new potential customers. Those who come to Lampedusa and other Mediterranean islands stay in Europe, often despite orders to leave. Illegal migration is followed by growing chaos on the streets of European cities, illegal camps, rising crime, or, as in Sweden, immigrant gangs and no-go zones in neighborhoods outside the state's control. The EU has not yet found a mechanism to control this. On the contrary, it wants to achieve relocation, and we all know that once they are in the EU country, no one can check where they are. This makes the public mood across Europe on migration policy, diplomatically speaking, aggravated. The polls, in turn, mean that politicians who until recently were pushing the open-door policy are starting to change the narrative. The head of the European Council, Charles Michel, admitted in an interview with Polsat News that Donald Tusk and Viktor Orban are absolutely right about migrants, referring to criticism of the Migration Pact. We are working very hard to engage with non-EU countries, countries of origin, transit countries, so that we can engage with them more broadly, including in the area of migration. This is interesting because until recently, Viktor Orban and then Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki were under fire from both Brussels and Donald Tusk for opposing the EU's migration policy, pointing to the need for cooperation with countries outside the bloc. When Poland refused to take part in the relocation mechanism, Warsaw was even threatened. This will inevitably have certain consequences. Such are the rules in Europe. If this decision is taken by a simple majority, Donald Tusk will be able to appeal to the Court of Justice of the European Union. If he does not, if he makes a deal with those who promote illegal migration, he will be complicit. This is clearly feasible in the context of securing Poland's eastern border. During the most massive attacks on the border with Belarus, the then opposition criticized the United Right government, called for the migrants to be let in, and insulted border guards and the army. In recent years, we have often heard from Donald Tusk that Poland does not accept the solutions adopted in Brussels and that it directly violates the rule of law, because this is what the struggle has been about in recent years. And this is what Poland has been slandered about by European People's Party politicians. Today, no one is organizing political events on the border, and the same people are talking about strengthening security and praising the actions of the same officers who until recently they were pulling down.